I don't know if it works. It does. Well, I don't have great slides with music, videos, and nice pictures. Just we'll try to tell the story that I'm a part of for the last 20 years, and it probably will be boring, but well, I will try to be shorter than like maybe 30 minutes. So, I'm myself an engineer. I since maybe late 70s I'm writing code, and about probably 1990 I was invited to my friend to a birthday party when he showed me a brand new C++ compiler. I loved that very much, and he asked me to join his team. But the team was already full, so a couple of first months I was formatting diskettes. You know, diskettes, 5 inches. And also I was doing very useful job. I was studying the software they wrote that was already a search in Russian. And I didn't like the interface, I didn't like the performance, and I was criticizing, writing bug reports, and so on, until I found that I need to intervene and start writing myself at some moment. So first thing I did, I rewrote the installation procedure to make it a little faster, because it was too dull to sit and wait while all the diskettes were filled with the data. So then I didn't like the search speed, and I changed that, made it like 20 times faster. So kind of becoming a part of the team. You see, it's me in '97 when we were quite successful, maybe 19 to 93. Then was bad years, about like 2 or 3 years. And '96 there was internet in Russia, and we joined the internet and started to write software for the internet. The first software we wrote was Yandex. It was a search engine for the sites. So if you had site, you could install it. And paid us money, okay? So the idea of Yandex Ru was, okay, it's a showcase of our technology. So you can look how well the web search is done. So you will be fascinated. You come to the small company and buy the software. That was the original business model for that. The idea behind it, not just being a search. Russian differs from many European languages, English as number one, in that it is average word has maybe several tens of different word forms, and if you ignore that fact, you will lose at least half of the information on average. So performing or giving people, Russian people, any search on the desktop or the web, you have to provide a good language understanding, some level of language understanding. So what we've done since early 90s, and it was our signature, our most important differentiation. So of course, when we wanted to launch that in '97, we thought about being different. At that moment, when we started that, in Russia, there are many very good teams and many talent and many engineers. So you cannot start things, and there will be already someone. So we were the third search engine when we started that. The first article in newspaper that was written about Yandex was, "It's getting dense on the Russian search landscape." It was written in 1997. So we were number 3 at that moment. But as I said, we had the differentiation, and we were sure that we'll be recognized and loved by users. And we worked on the search quality. We tried to be, at that time I had like 4 engineers in '97. One marketing girl, half-time as CEO, who was also a CEO of a parent company, and half-time CSOP. That's it. So things were changing. We were approaching 1999 dot-com boom, and there were many investors with wide open eyes running around looking for the company to invest. It's very similar to what we are seeing now, but maybe less organization, no Seedcamp that time. But there was some informal meetings, and we were trying to find investors who were not like, greedy kind of people who just, buy as much of a company as possible. That was a typical situation in Russian investor landscape that time, or to cash out as early as possible. So the investors we've chosen were very smart and gentle, and that was a very smart move. And we got $5 million and tried to change our company. So we incorporated and made the company that we understood should not be just a search engine. The original things about technology, it was quite clear in 2000 that we have to be a front end. We have to be a big site for users, final destination, because it was clear to us that user behavior, user interaction, user input is more important than just technology. Because it wasn't clear for anyone, because I think we were discussing if you want to still stay search technology provider and just serve search technology to other portals. But anyway, to us it was clear that we have to be a portal. So we got that money, and we didn't go to Hawaii. That was probably one of the options. But instead we made the first TV advertisement of any internet in Russia. It was, I think, May of 2000 or something like that. So the word internet was not on TV at all until probably our advertisement. That was kind of the first thing. Actually, quite expensive that time, I don't remember the figures, but it was a significant part of the investment, that TV advertisement. And then we moved to better office. That was actually one room like that. So we built the second floor. We built on the sides. So it was like a gallery. So people were sitting on the galleries, and when someone wanted to make an announcement, this person comes in the middle and just shout to everyone. So everyone was like either standing from their booths or they just hanging from the galleries. So it was a nice room. And we bought several servers and made a first server farm, which was also a smaller room with maybe 100 servers. And we were very proud of it, very proud. And we started to make better services, other services, and the things that we understood well. And one of the things that we understood well was mail. We wanted to be on the personal information space. Another thing we wanted to be was everything search related, such as news and shopping. And the way how we understood that, the market was relatively small. We could arrange agreements with every of 20 Russian electronic shops that existed that time, and also with the news agencies that were online that time. So we actually did that. We arranged all the agreements. We took the data. We arranged the better protocols for data exchange. We established XML that was very advanced back in 2000 in Russia, and we had all the bunch of the services that could attract users and also could potentially bring us money. But we were not profitable at all. We were burning money like hell. We were close to zero, maybe in a year and two. We were considering a second round of investment, or we could become profitable. That's a horrible story that very dramatic. I'm trying to be dramatic now, but actually it's a little lie. But one guy, I think he was a director, but he just left just because he didn't want to work or something. And another girl, she was a director just formally for PR purposes. She was just giving the card with the director name on it. But nevertheless, it sounds nice, like fire 4 directors. Yeah, Well, it's true that the problem is that one of the important part of our story is that we were trying to not only to make the rules, not only to improve the ecology of the internet, but also to educate. And education was a big part of our story. And Russian businesses, they already could benefit from internet advertisement back in 2001, 2002, 2003, but they didn't know about that possibility. And one of the part of that break-even story in 2002 was that Arkady, who is our CEO and my closest friend, the one whose birthday party I was back in 1990, he himself made some calculations with a pen and a paper and understood that if one salesperson would call this much Russian businesses, taken from Yellow Pages book, okay, and educate them by phone what internet is, okay, and how they can advertise themselves on the internet through self-serve advertisement that we called Yandex Direct at that time, search advertisement on the side of the search page. So finally, after a month of hard work, his salary will redeem, and we will have like $1,000 of extra cash out of this activity. So he himself showed this as an example to our sales director, because sales director didn't believe in that, in their theory, and he made that. So he was calling businesses and pushing Yandex Direct himself. We already were like 100 people company, but he was doing that to show to the sales director that it is possible. So I think, and also made himself a small salary just to make sure that we can do that. And actually, that was successful. In the end of 2002, we became profitable. And one part of that story is that to become profitable, we had to concentrate on the monetization quite strongly. For example, I remember the day in 2001 or something like that, when we made a special day of everyone was presenting each other how its service can be monetized. So finally in 2002, I think we had several important services. First of all, advertising system was, of course, that we launched in 2001. Another thing, it was a shopping site, and it was growing successfully, and we had some unique features on that. We had the expert system that helped people to choose the right models for them. And also important educational part of it, so people don't know what to buy in the electronics world, right? And the third thing that we made in 2002, I think we launched our payment system. And the problem that existed at that time was that people couldn't put money on the web. The credit cards penetration was, I think, much less than 1% in Russia back in 2001, 2002. So we made a special way to convert electronic payments, to convert physical cash into electronic payment system. That was an important thing, and it was fueling our advertising probably quite a while. But now it's not that important because people have credit cards, people have different ways of giving us money. But if you look at the competitive landscape, if you look at what was going around us, of course we were not alone. For example, Google launched its Russian version back in 2002, or 2001, and some other international search engines, also Russian search engines. They all were competing for the audience, were competing for the search quality. And we had some crisis at some moment, like 2005, 2006, when we didn't grow enough. We didn't organize our development in a way how it should be done, giving all the big competitors around us. So finally, the original idea of early 90s, that was our idea that Russian language is important when you search in Russian. It came to Google and to other Western companies. So they started to implement better search technology for Russia in 2005, 2006, 2007, and gained a significant part. And they actually effectively killed the second player, which was Rambler, and they started to gain share from us. So we had to work very hard to understand what it is a web search now. And the web search is a very expensive and very complicated technology. It consists from many parts. on which you have to work and spend many, many years. I believe it's thousands of many years to make a decent web search now. So you have to create crawling, ranking, runtime, linguistics, anti-spam, duplicate detection, lots of things, content system, lots of things to be on par with most modern search engines. So I think in 2006, 2007, 2008, we started to grow not just like twice a year. We had to grow exponentially. We grew, the search team I think grew from 20, 30 people at 2005 to probably 200, 300, 500 people now. So you can imagine how like 2008, 2009. So it required lots of restructuring our organizational changes. One of the important things that we done that time was to start our own university. The problem with Russian education was that it's great education. It used to be a very good education, but it's getting outdated and it's not funded enough. So young professors are not there. And for example, computer science mostly is taught like it was back in 70s, 80s when Russia made all the rockets and nuclear weapons. So it was a great computer science for that time, but now we have different problems, different tasks. We need to have artificial intelligence, internet, distributed system, machine learning. These kind of things were not properly taught in Russian universities. So we actually launched our own university back in 2007. It's called School of Data Analysis, and we managed to find a way to Moscow State University and Moscow Physical Technical Institute, that are two of the best computer science universities in Moscow. And slowly this thing helped us. It's a master degree, 2-year master degree. It helped us to find developers for us. We couldn't sometimes find fresh developers that were ready to work for Yandex back in 2007. Well, I think this is the last slide. So this was an interesting story for me personally. I was a part of a roadshow. It was 78 meetings in 2 weeks. So it was like 8 to 9 a day in London also, and in New York and San Francisco. I had very nice slides about this thing, so it was very well prepared. We got lots of money, and the story now is very different. The landscape is changing. The life is different from what it was, and we work very hard on many applications and many parts of the search that will bring more satisfaction, more usage to our customers and to our users. One of the things that I wanted to describe as our mapping system, mapping search and maps, that we think is very important part of our image now in Russia and I think abroad. We have a great application that help navigate in Russian cities. You know that traffic in Moscow is one of the worst traffics in the world. I heard the MMM story. It's Moscow, Mumbai, Mexico, 2 worst cities in the world, and Moscow is one of the probably worst. And we didn't have ready-to-use providers of maps, of digital maps. We didn't have ready-to-use providers of traffic information. Many things we had to create from scratch. We create electronic maps industry by coming to possible providers of old style maps and to convert them into the internet maps. The same with traffic. We just distributed the applications, mobile applications that we wrote for all the available and cheap platforms, so people could monitor traffic on their phones, but instead we get the the GPS tracks and convert it into the live traffic map. So that's how it works. So I think this talk is about answering the question more than about
Definitely
talking
yes,
and something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody has questions for Ilya that are related to anything about the story, about his personal history with Yandex, or some insights into their startups, I think the teams should go first. So all of you guys probably have some interesting questions. So.
Hi, try to break the ice. My name is Ilya Segalovich from Moped, and I'd like to know more about what was wrong, when you were trying to grow and you didn't really scale. In the years you said you had some problem scaling. Some insights that you could
That's quite obvious. The most important part of our business is search, and the search quality is a very complex and complicated problem. And not investing a lot into that thing. We were a very small company back into 3 to 4, and we were growing very carefully. And we didn't understand what it takes. We just didn't understand how much it takes and what we needed to achieve that level of search quality. That was the most important thing. So we understood that back into 6 to 7, and we didn't have enough ready people who could do that for us. So we had to find people. The old guys, they were not ready to hire that many people and control them. The guys from the back 90s. So we had to find everything from managers, everything, and engineers.
You actually initiated so many different industries within Russia. Have things changed in that time? Are you when you look at innovation there, are you looking at now buying more versus starting them within your own company? If at all that's changed, how so?
Well, if we talk about buying, it's about maintaining our growth and maintaining our position. So the things are changing. We have a different browser landscape now. We have different mobile landscape now. So we are working on maintaining our position and growth. And of course, everything that we do inside and everything that we want to buy must work on that purpose. So we are ready to buy. We are buying. We bought several startups last year. I think we will continue to do that. We're also investing. We have. We made early this year. We made a kind of a VC fund that invests into startups that are not ready to be acquired and these kind of things.
So, especially when comparing to Google's approach to staying innovative as a big corporation, what's your approach to that? What's basically we were small teams to try to build new products, or how does that work?
Well, organizationally, we are not really. We are pretty flat in terms of it's very open. We have everything is open mostly. So people discussing everything on the list. We have a great and open inner infrastructure. So wiki, internal blogging system, so people can blog for and communicate. The hierarchically we split into two departments, and they are not. It's not like that we have one head of everything. Typically we have managers and developers. So it's two verticals. And typically each project has two main people who work. So it's a split responsibility. So, well?
So yeah, my name is Evgeny. I'm a journalist. Such a question. We got accidental requests from clients in Russia, but we're sort of hesitating because Russian social network market is dominated by competitive, and we're kind of not sure whether Facebook will take over or Compactor will continue to dominate. And you definitely proved that Yandex dominates Russian market despite Google. So what's your take on the social network landscape in Russia in 3-4 years? So it's still Compactor or Facebook will overtake?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think there are some. I think Facebook was growing quite successfully sometime. Then it sort of stopped or something like that. I don't know. And Vkontakte and Odnoklassniki. I do not want to forget about Odnoklassniki. They're also quite great guys, and they're working hard to improve the customer satisfaction, the user satisfaction on their side. They're getting better every month, quite visibly. So you see they're getting better. So I think social network magic. It's something that you cannot do like that. You cannot replicate. You cannot. Oh, I have better. I don't know, better like functionality. Okay, so all the people will come to my network. It's not going to work. To my opinion, people are staying where all their friends are, right? So VK is very, very successful in having and maintaining the user base. So I don't know how it will change very soon, honestly. I don't know. Facebook is all around. People have two, like in Moscow, quite often they have two social networks.
So in terms of developing your product, strategically, how do you approach product development with such a well-established sort of global competitor? Your product guys, to what extent do you think they're inspired by competitors, and at what point do you draw the line and say, we're going to go with our own instinct? How's that managed?
Yeah, well, actually, if you look at our story is very long. And when we started, there was no competitors or international level that were caring enough about Russian market. They were not understanding what is important, right? So we worked primarily competing with the Russian environment. And we had 3 search engines back in early 2000. And we were looking at them, of course, but we also were leaders, and we had to make a brave and first move. So we were doing all the things more or less the first on the market. And our focus was on what is missing currently in the internet. What we need to build. Like there were no shopping site, good shopping site, and we understood how to build it. What the experience is important. What the model choosing thing, the expert system for that, the clustering, the duplicate removal of shopping listings, and making that experience best. That was actually, we didn't look at any product when we were working on shopping site all these years. And of course, I cannot say that it's not influenced. It will be a lie, of course. And especially several last years when great big sites getting more, they're putting more attention on Russian market and other markets. We of course we are looking at that, but it's kind of a mix of things. And another thing is that we have lots of ideas coming from developers, from just people who work on the kind of on a basic level. So they're giving more ideas and more examples of what should be done and how it should be done than top people like me, you know. Wow.
I mean, I think both with Yandex and with Skype in the last year, you know, it's nice to claim Yandex as sort of a European business, but you've seen $20 billion worth or more of exits coming out of the former Soviet Union. And today we saw, you know, many startups from Estonia. You know, are you starting to see from Yandex, you know, that you're changing the sort of the entrepreneurial culture? Do you think that, like, you know, with Yahoo and with Google and with eBay, you guys will spawn many new startups? Because I mean, we're seeing more and more startups coming from Russia.
I think after IPO we have like 10%. We are going to change that policy, but we used to have like about 10% of our employees who had stock options, right? So there were more than 100 million years after that IPO at Yandex. So I believe many of them would want to start something their own. And of course, I feel sad about people leaving the company, but I understand that that's life. And they worked for Yandex 5, 7, 9 years, and they want to do something. And I already know some guys who started their things, and I wish good luck. And I believe that that's a good thing, that we have this amount of experienced engineering way and project management way, experienced guys and girls who can do their own thing. So I believe that already going on this year, and I think that will be grow next year. So we will have more people in Russia that had great experience and money to start things.
Yeah, go.
How did you make your first strategic hires? How did you, I mean, you know, all of us need to make those most impressive hires.
Okay.
How did you?
Good question. In the beginning, it was all friends. So the first non-friends hire was done in 2000, when actually we understood that we have to get that huge amount of money, 5 million. It's just unbelievably huge amount of money. So we had to hire regular basis. We had to be a normal company, not just friends by friends and friends of relatives, right? So, so what we did, we started. I remember myself. We made a online problem to solve for engineers and put them on the main page of Yandex. So I got like first week. It was I think it was a night. 31st of December to the 1st of January, so it was Happy New Year Eve of 2000. And I got, first day I got already responses was problem solved. So people were not drinking, they were working on, on the problem. So I think that was, and then we made a regular process. We started to get better educated in selection. There was some problem in early 2000 when we, essentially we grew in 2000 and became like 100 company, and then we were not profitable, so we couldn't grow. So that was, for us, it was a little bit of a problem when we had to start it again in 2003, 2004, 2005. And that was kind of recalling how we did that, how we hire 100 people. So that was another experience, another environment. So we had to change the system, we had to get more regular things, both on the site and through HR agencies and everything. And very soon we understood that they just don't have enough educated people. So that's why in 2007 we create our own university. But basically, first hires were all friends of relatives. So sorry.
You've talked about the challenges with hiring, and you also mentioned that most of your ideas and the ability to stay competitive came from like engineers that work, so your talent. And when we look at Google, we see like talent drain to other companies. So my question is, if you have any specific tips on how to grow your company manpower-wise and still retain your talent?
Well, I have to say that we are quite lucky in keeping most of the core team inside Yandex for years, but yeah, I think in our case it's easier because we have a constant flow of really hard problems. And we are very popular. We have to solve these problems, including new things that arrive because competitors done something, and we have to do something similar or something that can be as good as, or we have to do something new that we want to do that is missing currently, and we have huge audience. Everyone is working for the huge audience. Every small change in the mail system or search engine result page will be seen by millions. So it's sort of enjoyable to do, and for us it's a little easier, you know. So I won't be honest if I tell you something, you know.
You said, Ilya, that early in the day you had to educate your customers in Russia how to use internet. Some would argue that it's a very, very expensive thing to do. Would you recommend it today? Or?
I think we are doing that all the time, and I think it's very important part of what we've done. For example, I think we did at least 6 years before Google or whoever else. We started to do seminars with in different cities that were just for advertising agencies. Because advertising agencies in Russia, they were doing outdoor advertisement, TV advertisement, radio advertisement. None of them were doing internet advertisement. So we were just explaining them how it works. What is CTR, you know? What is this? And what are the metrics? How it works, how to choose better keywords and everything. And that was an important thing of our business. Without it, I think nothing would be that great and that successful. So I don't think it was kind of very expensive. We had, I think it was maybe 3-4 guys who were traveling around and giving that seminars and explaining how it works. And another thing that we've done, we wrote lots of texts and explaining how to do that on the business side. So most important for us was to educate on the business services. On the customer, on the user services, the service itself should be an educational tool. People do not read helps. They do not read help documents. They just use it. If it's clean and clear, they use it. It's self-educational. It's not.
Yeah, Christopher from Holby. About this is what it relates to the cultural aspects and your product design. I find that a lot of Russian sites have very sort of garish kind of colors and sort of very bright kind of things. And somebody said to us that's a Russian thing, that you have to look like that. You have to look, always in your fields to get the Russian audience. Would you agree with that, or is that just something?
Well, it's interesting. I have the same feeling towards the Chinese sites, for example. So we ourselves we see ourselves more kind of stylish, but we have that yellow. We like it. I don't think we're kind of really lots of colors. I mean, maybe some other sites.
I'm talking about Russian sites in general and the Russian audience in general.
Yeah. Well, it depends. I think it depends on the age and the interest groups. I think some people like it, some people don't. So it's hard to say. Well, there might be some studies about it. I'm just trying to say it from my head. I'm not sure if. But of course, it's a good question, because we always, on the high level, we try to see what we are, how we should be designed. And technically, we are trying to be more strict, less different things, But at the same time, not too much, not too empty.
Okay.
2003, 2004, you started to scale. How did you really achieve that? You reinvesting your own capital in marketing, or what was the real tipping point?
We got lots of money. In 2002, we broke even, and we started to double, triple every year our income. Tipping point? No, it's not firing of 5 directors, no. I think it was basically because of the Russia was diving out of this crisis. Then the internet was diving out of the crisis. So it was 2 crises out of which 2 our parts were just growing. So both Russia and internet. So that made the growth really impressive. And also, I think general contextual advertisement. I think that was a big thing back in 2002, 2003, 2004. Huge thing. So lots of industries started to just rush into the contextual advertisement. That was the reason of that moment.
Quick follow-up on that. So the money you got, where did most of it go? Did it go into development, or did it go into sales and marketing?
I believe more than the half of the employees are managers and so production part of it. I think much more than the half. So the sales is a small team. It's a self-serve system basically. So we have lots of people who work with data, who look at the spam examples or search quality examples, or they monitor the advertising, for example, advertising, scam and advertising, this kind of stuff. So it's not kind of too big, but still.
Yeah, we've got one last question.
Is there someone else?
Joss.
Really awesome question over there.
We got close to taking our company public called Message Labs, and I was just wondering, I've sort of reflected on it and wondered whether we would have actually enjoyed being a public company and whether it would be difficult, whether things would have changed and whether we would have still had fun. How is it?
Well, so far, I spent one day after IPO on that call, earning call, yes. And so far, I'm lucky not thinking about it. I have an app to look at the stocks, and I didn't do that last 4 months at all. So I don't know what the stocks are. I'm sorry. And I'm not encouraging anyone in Yandex to do that. So generally, nothing changed.
All right. Well, thank you very much.